That's not just some dirt. That's where souls left this earth doing their job, and it is absolutely hallowed ground.
It was a morning trek to a hallowed ground. Members of the media, for the first time, allowed access to the now charred spot west of Yarnell, where 19 Granite Mountain hotshots lost their lives last month fighting the Yarnell Hill fire.
My understanding, the last radio transmission was that they were going to burn out around them. And what that means is they were going to light a backfire around the circle that they had cut out for their safety zone, and then they deployed their shelters.
Prescott Fire Division Chief Darrell Willis, one of the founding fathers of the Granite Mountain Hotshots, and today Darrell talking about his friends and what may have happened that terrible day.
It's all speculation at this point in time, but in my heart, I would know that they're not protecting themselves. They're going to go and they're going to protect that ranch.
Darrell believes the crew hiked down a steep hill into a box canyon, hoping to protect a nearby ranch, only to have the fire flank them down a neighboring canyon and then turn in their direction.
From my standpoint, this was the most extreme fire behavior I'd ever witnessed. The fire was moving up this canyon. It's the best that they had at the time. There was no other options. There wasn't an option to escape uphill. This is where they had to deploy.
Investigation still ongoing, and today the spot circled by chain link, and just outside a Granite Mountain Hotshot t-shirt on a burnt cactus, with visitors encouraged to touch the shirt as they approach.
It's just one of those things that happened. You can call it an accident. I just say God had a different plan for that crew at this time.
It stands like a man-made mountain towering above the windswept West Texas landscape. Warren Jeff's massive pearl white temple, and on the grounds of his 1,700-acre gated YFZ ranch with its security cameras and patrolling security guards, Jeff's faithful continue their constant work of digging, building, and expanding.
They're hard workers. They know what they're doing, and they enjoy it. That's about all I have to say about it.
They're starting to be a little more public about, coming out and going to gas stations, being at the stores and stuff like that. They're just being a little more involved.
The way they live out there, the way they grow their own food and they make their own clothes, they really have a nice way of life. It's just the young girls, it's just not acceptable.
And for the people in the tiny nearby town of El Dorado, Texas, where over this past weekend a street fair was being held.
Who wants a snow cone?
It has been a rocky 8 years, ever since one of Warren Jeff's followers first purchased the land for the ranch, initially lying to locals, saying it was going to be used as a corporate hunting retreat.
They moved here under false pretense to begin with. They said it was going to be a hunting preserve.
I think they use religion to molest children, and that's, it's wrong.
It's wrong, yeah, but it's somebody else's way of life, and it's their own personal business, and I just stay out of people's business.
And the truth is, despite the fact that their leader faces the very real possibility of spending the rest of his life in a Texas prison, the FLDS people are now deeply ingrained in this part of West Texas, with FLDS men an increasingly powerful force in the region's construction industry and other businesses, and that big ranch north of town continues to grow.
I think as a Christian, I don't judge people, so I don't know exactly what they do. I'm not in their lifestyle.
You kind of want to keep your mouth shut. Because you offend some people and you don't offend others. I don't know. There's just no comment. I don't want to say anything.
Experts say things may be getting better in Southern California, but don't tell that to the owners of this home.
Well, it's unbelievable. I mean, we just got to get more resources, but it comes down to.
Indeed, with so many fires now burning in Southern California, personnel and resources stretched to the limit. and very few of those resources visible as we started chasing flames at about 4 this morning. First into the hills above the orange groves of the agricultural community of Rincon, northeast of San Diego, and then further east into the La Jolla Indian Reservation.
What can you do when a fire comes? You can't, it has no sense.
Early this morning, explosions and fire erupting in a home here on the La Jolla Indian Reservation. Those flames now moving towards this home, also this home, a couple of other residents up there on the mountain, firefighters in the area so overtaxed there doesn't seem to be anything they can do.
We've lost probably 33 so far on our reservation.
On the La Jolla
Yeah,
Reservation.
La Jolla Indian Reservation.
How many folks live there?
We have 168 homes, 168 families.
And you've lost already 30 of them?
Probably 33.
So that's a big hit.
Oh, yeah.
During the course of our travels today, we made it to the top of Palomar Mountain, elevation about 5,000 feet, to the center of the beautiful Cleveland National Forest. And everywhere you look, you can see fires. Fire here, fire off there in the landscape, smoke and fire just about everywhere you cast your eye. Gives you a sense for what firefighters are up against today.
We're trying to protect the community of Palomar Mountain right now.
And by midday, more and more resources shifting into the mountainous area of northern San Diego County, including a small fire retardant dropping aircraft.
There is probably about some 500 people live up here, some seasonal, some permanent residents up here.
You got them all evacuated?
Yeah, they were evacuated a couple days ago. We're holding our own right now. We're getting resources in, which we were desperately needed. And I think that's going to help us out.
But of course, resources alone cannot and will not stop this nightmare. For that, Mother Nature still holds the key.
It's just the wind. Once you have resources put on one area because that place is going crazy, then everything goes shifted, and then something happens over here. There's just the winds shift, and that's what happens. You have to keep moving equipment.
At a recent karate competition at Grand Canyon University, out of hundreds of kids, 5-year-old Kaylee here won medals in 3 different categories. Now she's getting ready to represent Arizona at Nationals. Next month, Kaylee will head to Reno for the USA National Karate Championships. It's the same event where they hold the Olympic trials.
What makes it so unique is she's able to take everything that we teach and adapt it immediately.
Her sensei at Peaceful Warrior in Scottsdale began his training around the same age as Kaylee, but admits she's a whole lot more advanced.
Yes, if we got my 4-year-old self out here, my 5-year-old self, she would destroy me. It would not be pretty.
She picked up the sport after watching her older brother, an 8-year-old who's also pretty darn good at the sport. In Nationals, Kaylee will compete in the kata, the weapons category, and non-combat sparring.
You have sparring gear on, and it's fake fighting.
Her sparring finishing move is the roundhouse kick.
Throw kicks to the head.
She loves gymnastics and she's got a really good stretch, so her kick to the head is pretty good.
Isn't that kind of weird, just saying that
Yes,
my daughter's kick to the head is awesome?
I never thought I'd be saying that. Absolutely. But it actually, as a mom, it is great to have a daughter who feels empowered, and when she's 16, possibly in dating, I think we're going to feel pretty good about that.
She's not just mastered the art of karate. In fact, she's pretty impressive at dance as well. She's got a huge ballet and tap recital coming up next week. From Scottsdale, Tyler Baldwin, 3TV Sports.
It's one of those rare Arizona barns that the weather has been perfect on.
Distressed, dilapidated, down to the last years of its life. As a barn, that is.
There's a lot of good wood on that side there. That the spike knot's running out on there, and the color of the patina is just fantastic.
With all its weathered wrinkles and sun-blasted scars, this is the perfect wood for Tim McClellan, a craftsman of fine furniture like this.
This is beautiful here. Yeah, we'll use it. No. It's real light, but we'll roll it out flat and put a finish on that, and that'll be beautiful.
Beautiful? Well, to the Joseph City farmer who owns it, this barn has become more of a burden.
Well, the prevailing winds out of the southwest, and the barn has been gradually shifting. It's pulled apart about a foot in the top superstructure there.
John McClellan, Tim's older brother, spotted this gem standing near I-40 just west of Holbrook. Today, he's in charge of delicately dismantling the structure piece by piece.
The barn, as far as the wood that we're going to use, has to come apart one board at a time, as slowly, as gently as possible. There isn't any way to rush this.
Even one broken beam is unacceptable.
If he used 4 legs for a piece of furniture, he'd want all 4 legs to come from one board. That board now is basically worthless because he couldn't get the 4 legs from it.
After all, everything they can salvage here will live on as breathtaking and authentic furniture, rich in Western heritage.
To most people, it looks like an old, worthless piece of wood that's destined for the burn pile. To me, it's art waiting to happen.
It's been out here for over 20 years. It's not very well known.
By my side of it, I like it because they go fast, and I'm really a fan of fast things.
I get to go fast like I love to do.
This is really a family atmosphere out here that we have because we'll have brothers racing against brothers.
I come out here with my brothers and my dad and just really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Since I'm racing against all boys, it's even funner because when I beat them, it makes me happy.
For me, I'm almost 30 years old, so there's kids that are 14 years old that are just as quick as me, so that always catches me off guard, which is pretty cool.